feminism really recognize that our system that we are in now is the system that has been complicated by injustices caused by patriarchy, by capitalism, colonialism, injustice caused by exploitations and oppression. As feminists and as we do, we have said what we want is the system change.
We are an over 30-year-old women's rights global advocacy organization, and we work at the nexus of women's rights, gender equality, environment, and climate justice. WEDO started as a group of friends, a group of allies, activists. This includes women like Dr. Wangari Maathai, Dr. Vandana Shiva, who led large movements of women in their countries who were at the forefront of environmental protection. And yet, when they were involved in global policy spaces, women were not present at the negotiating tables, and women's rights issues were not part of or centered to any of the outcomes of some of the world's biggest, most critical negotiations around the future of our planet. One of the biggest impacts that WEDO as an organization has had is in shaping global policy and multilateralism as a whole to ensure that women's rights and women's voices must be centered in discussions and outcomes.
WEDO has this exciting strategy. Our strategy has three components: moving power, moving mind, and moving money. For us to be able to do anything, first we need to be intentional moving that power.
This is really about who has voice and access and decision making when it comes to shaping our policies and our actions, particularly at global level, but also at local and community level. So the work is really around supporting grassroots women leaders, Indigenous women, feminist leaders who have the solutions to these crises, who are experiencing these crises in their daily lives, to also have a platform for leadership in the policy spaces in which we work in.
We see ourselves as a convener, and in that convening, our role is to make sure that we open space so the power of community organizing, the power of region organizing can find its way in the global processes. We do understand that climate crisis is the result of the economic choices that we have made and the world have made, in this case, like the mode of production, which is capitalism. So to address that, we have dedicated work that look on those interlinkages.
We launched a program with our allies called the Gender Just Climate Solutions Program, where we've now highlighted and amplified and showcased over 150 different solutions to the climate and environmental crisis that center gender equality. That work we were doing to fund these solutions was showing us the ways in which our current multilateral financial system is not fit for purpose. The resources that need to be delivered at scale, at a diversity of scale, and in the urgency that the crisis requires.
So in the narrative around women, for the longest time, women have been painted by just one brush, that we are vulnerable to climate. We are hopeless victims of climate crisis. Our effort in changing that narrative is to open up space so that women can equally sit in a decision table and advocate or provide leadership in their communities and in countries and their government. We are trying not to tell people's story. If people have a story to tell, they better tell it themselves. And that's why most of our work is centered around supporting those voices that under normal circumstances could not be in that position to tell their stories.
WEDO doesn't work on advocacy as an individual organization. Our approach has always been to build power collectively. And so it means that WEDO is working alongside partners, uplifting communities, Indigenous peoples communities, groups marching in the streets to demand the end to fossil fuels, and really showcasing what the impacts are on women and girls around the world in a world that is based on extraction. There's something deeply feminist about the shift from the individual to the collective that is really critical in the way that we present our vision and our radical reimagining.
We've done a lot of work to imagine that feminist world. It's not the world that we have lived now, but we refuse to be confined within the histories and realities of today, while we can use the power of mind and power of ideals to imagine that world. And that world is free from capitalism, colonialism, patriarchy, and all models of oppression.